Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. What is happening, everybody? Tonight, we're talking about all-in-one aquariums. We're getting into, if you've never had a saltwater aquarium and you're thinking about your first saltwater aquarium, tonight is the one you're going to want to see, because this is the one, if you've always thought about doing a saltwater aquarium, you've been on the offense about it, not quite sure, we're going to introduce you into all-in-one aquariums. And in second, you guys seen Facebook all lit up throughout New England this entire week about it. We're talking about the Fall Frag Road Trip. This isn't just about corals. This is about everything. A big sale a lot of us stores are doing throughout the Northeast. We're going to bring Donnie in for Wet Pets. Donnie scheduled this whole thing. We tried getting everything all up and ready. We're going to bring him tonight. But for right now, we're jumping in. Do me a favor, Peter. Hit that intro, baby. Woo! Ernie, we want to get into all-in-one aquariums. So, Ernie, a quick example, what is an all-in-one aquarium? We're going to bring your video on in a couple seconds, but what is an all-in-one aquarium?
The easiest way to explain it is you basically go home, you fill it up with water, if you're doing salt water, live rock, and live sand or dry rock, and you plug it in, and it's running. It's plug and play.
Plug and play, instant play. If you're afraid of a sump, and that is something we see a lot of people that are afraid of, we want to get you away from a hang on back. We want no canister on a saltwater tank. An all-in-one is the way to go. Let's go and bring in Peter. Do me a favor. Show that Ernie video. We're going to show you guys all-in-one aquariums from Waterbox.
Today we are going to talk about all-in-one tanks. For starters, what is an all-in-one tank? They're also referred to as AIOs. Basically, the tank manufacturer builds a sump system into the back of the tank. You surface skim here, goes into a filter sock, comes into the next compartment, which has your biomedia, filtration sponges, and if you need to run activated carbon or some other form of filter media, it goes in that compartment. Third compartment is your return compartment. And so the water comes back out of here, comes out of a nozzle, swirls around, your tank is up and running. Easy way to refer to these is plug and plays. You go home, fill it up with water, you plug it in, you have a fish tank running. Specifically today, we're going to talk about doing salt water with all-in-ones. I'm going to lump 4 of these water boxes all together because my opinion on them for salt water is basically the same on all 4. The 4 are going to be the Water Box Cube 10, the Peninsula 15, the Cube 20, and the Peninsula 25. If you have done a saltwater tank before, cakewalk for you. They make great saltwater tanks. As far as a beginner tank goes, I just personally feel the water volume is too small for a beginner to play with, because with a smaller water volume, the parameters shift much faster on you. Fortunately, Waterbox makes 3 other tanks that are perfect beginner saltwater all-in-one tanks. We're gonna go talk about those right now. This is the Waterbox 35.2 all-in-one. Great starter saltwater tank. It's got a 2-foot footprint. It's 35 gallons. So the 35 gallons of water is not that hard for you to keep stable. Whereas it's only a 2-foot footprint, it's not gonna take up that much room in your house. It's a great tank. You've got plenty of depth for doing aquascaping in. This one's set up as a freshwater right now because they do make great freshwater tanks as well. The next one is actually one of my personal favorites. It's the 50.3. It's 3 feet long. It gives you plenty of room, larger water volume, easier to keep the water stable. You notice that's a recurring theme. Good for aquascaping. You can get away with quite a few more fish in a 3-foot footprint than you can in the 2-foot footprint. So it makes a great saltwater tank. Has 2 filter socks, so instead of like with the smaller tanks where there's 1 surface skimmer, you have 2. Goes into these compartments through the filter socks. Then you have 2 media chambers, and then you have a nice big return chamber so you can upgrade and put a bigger pump in there if you want to. The last one is the 65.4. 65.4 is the big daddy of water boxes all-in-ones. It's 4 feet long. As with the 50.3, it has dual surface skimmers. Difference with this is it has 4 filter socks in it instead of 2. Much bigger chambers for your media, much bigger return chambers, 4 feet long, so you can get away with a lot more than you can in the 3-foot tank. With salt water, bigger is always better, but a 4-foot tank can be overwhelming. That's why I tend to lean towards the 50.3 when you're just getting started out. That's about all I got today, guys. Have a great day.
Now we showed you a quick couple examples of the water boxes and other all-in-ones too. The ones we use a lot for smaller sizes are the lifeguards, and we also use the tie line series. Between these three, our favorite water boxes are usually your go-to choice for any of these all-in-ones, but I also like the tie lines. Lifeguards more on the smaller size. The only problem with lifeguards, sometimes we do have to replace the pumps. Now, when you're getting into reason I like saltwater, these for saltwater aquariums is I feel like they're very easy to learn on if you've never had a saltwater aquarium where you don't have to learn how to sump, and also understanding frags and things that you also need to get into being successful with the aquariums. That's what we want. We want you to get into this. We want you to love this, and we want you to be super successful. And it also prevents you staying away from certain tank species because you just wouldn't fit those species inside that, because that's where your problems come from. So let's talk about setting up an all-in-one aquarium. Ernie, what do you want to start with? You want to start with sand?
Well, I want to start with rock, because you don't put sand in first.
All right, let's do it, baby. Ernie, I'm going to be your Vanna White right now.
Okay. When you're first setting up your tank, it's very important to do your rock work before you do your sand work. A lot of these saltwater critters like to burrow, and if you put your rocks on top of the sand and they burrow underneath, you get a rock slide in a glass box, which is not a good idea. We got in this awesome
Cornerstone rock. This rock is epic. I love this rock.
It comes in all different shapes and sizes. The weight is about half of that of life rock or normal live rock. And the shapes, if you can see, they interlock together. So you don't even really need to coralcrete these together. It's like building a puzzle.
It is amazing. And you should see
the
aquascapes on these are unbelievable. Like, they're super light. They look amazing in the tank, and you can aquascape. Like, I could put a small rock holding this whole piece up and give a plenty of room for the frags. I also love the color. The color looks fantastic. Jay, what's going on? I can't get over this. I think that this has been one of the hottest and the coolest things to come out, and I'm really happy with this. I originally saw this on the Reef Breeders article that I saw, not Reef Breeders, Reef Builders article that I saw. Then I got to go to Aquashella in Chicago, and I met Caleb there, and I tell you, I fell in love. And after we've been putting these in the aquariums, these rocks look incredible.
I can't wait for the shapes to come in.
Yeah, that's what we're just waiting on next. What do you want to show next?
Well, next is the sand.
Ooh.
So you get your structure built with the rocks, and then you put your sand in. You can pour the whole bag in there. I personally poke a couple holes in the bottom of the bag and let all the gunk drain out, and then put the sand in. It helps when you fill the tank. It's not cloudy for like 2 days. It's only cloudy for a few hours if you do it that way. There's a little packet you can put in there that solidifies all that gunk and helps take it out, but your filter socket is going to clog up fast when you do that.
Just keep that in mind.
It's easier just to drain that sludgy little water out of there. You're losing some of the beneficial bacteria by doing that, but in the long run, it's worth it, in my opinion.
This is also our preferred sand to use, is the Fiji Pink, because it clears up the fastest. It looks great.
The grains are heavier, so it doesn't blow around if you have a power head in there. There are some finer ones, but the power heads just blow that stuff all over the place. This is a great grade of sand.
It's fantastic. What do you want to get into next? You want to get into pumps, heaters?
Well, the return pump's important.
Let's do it. We'll show 2 different sizes. Ernie's very excited about the return pumps. I'm going to show you different ones.
I'm very excited about this. I have not used this one yet. I have used the 7.0 and the 9.0s. This is the small version that just came out yesterday, as a matter of fact. So, no experience with it yet, but with the big brothers of this thing, I am in love with these pumps. Fully controllable. Download the app to your phone. It's got temperature alerts on it. It's basically an aquarium controller in a return pump. I'm not sure of the size of this, though, for how small of a tank it's going to fit in. I know it'll fit in the 50.3 and the 65. I don't know if it can go smaller than that, though. DC, fully adjustable. Our go-to has been the Synchro Silence. We have been using those from the 10 gallons up. They work flawlessly.
I really like these ones. We use these I mean, the single silence we use in almost everything. This has been our go-to, especially on the all-in-ones, and we use these on the bigger tanks. The fours, the fives, we use on the much larger ones. You're pretty much going to be on the 0.5 up to about the 2 to a 3 on this AOIs.
The stores and pretty much all the employees' tanks are all pretty much running Seashays now. Great pump.
Heater.
The heaters. There are a ton of different heaters out there depending on the size of the tank. For the smaller tanks, we have just been using the aquariums. Everybody's like, aquarium? It's actually a very reliable heater. It doesn't malfunction very often. It's very easy to set. Some of these very expensive heaters, they last like a month or two, and then they're on the fritz.
That's the worst part about heaters. And us even selling to you. We built the OSA choice, and the model is, good, better, best. And I got to tell you, for in the middle, this one is pretty good. I really enjoy this one. For the price of what you're paying for and what you're getting, this is a really fantastic one. After this, the only ones we can really get into are the Phoenix when we get into titaniums, because we're more accurate and we can go from there.
The titaniums come with a controller, so they're far more advanced. We usually use those on the larger reef systems.
And I just love the way, it works. It's pretty consistent. The only thing is, how often would you change your heater in general? Because we live in the Northeast.
I change them out yearly.
Yeah, we're going to suggest definitely yearly, just because you have issues with the heaters up here. They come on, they come off, they come on, they come off. And it's just something you want to make sure you're on top of.
It's the most inexpensive part of your tank, and it's the one part of your tank that can nuke the entire thing if it goes bad. When the old days, if a heater burned out, it didn't work anymore. Tank got cold. Fish were a little upset. Corals were a little upset, but they bounced back. When heaters fail now, they fail in the on position, and they goes up into the 90s in these smaller tanks fast. And sometimes you're like, hey, I made it. Everything looks good. And then a month later, everything's dead. It takes a while sometimes for the die-off to happen. For such an inexpensive part, with all the money and love we have invested in these tanks, it's worth it just to replace it yearly. Throw it to the side. Use it to heat up salt water in a mixing barrel or something. You can still use it. Just don't trust it in your tank unless it's on a specific controller.
That is, just keep an eye on temps. That's the next thing. Let's talk. You want to do lighting?
Well, lighting is next.
All right. Our preferred. There is so many choices out there, and I feel like it's such a questionable topic. But dun dun dun. This is our preferred on the AIO.
Bang for your buck. Small, it's compact, it's completely controllable. It's probably the easiest app out there to use as far as getting into the hobby. Some of these lights you have to plug into a laptop and program on a laptop. This one, you download the app and it's slide bars. And we can tell you what percentages to set them to get you off and running. And then you basically go from there as far as colors go to what your eye prefers. Corals, you usually go heavy blues. If you have fish you really like, you want some white in there because your fish look awful under heavy blues.
Yes, that's the biggest issue. You don't want a big blue blob for a tank, right? That is
unless it's just corals.
Unless it's just corals.
That's
the only.
Awesome.
Then it looks awesome, right? But if you have fish, you want to definitely make sure the white's on. You got to control it, and that's the other thing is you're picking and choosing based on the type of corals that you have, and you got to understand: do you have a reef tank? Do you have a fish only tank? Or do you have just a coral tank? Because SBS tanks are not I don't call those reef tanks. That is strictly a coral tank when you're basing on this. When you're basing on fish, you want to be able to see the fish and understanding the light intensity of where you want it. The AIs have been our absolute favorite just because you can grow everything on an AI. And that's what I like about it. We get to run out people that will come in with certain lighting systems, and it's just not going to work for what you're trying to do.
When you're just getting into the hobby, a lot of people get sucked into either buying the Lamborghini or the Chevette, when you should just go in the middle with the Corvette, which works every time.
That's what
you
it is.
Don't need the Lamborghini, and the Chevette is going to break down on you and not work. So go middle of the road. It works every time. You don't need the Lamborghini, but if you got the money and you want it, go for it. That's what I tend to do. But a lot of my tanks I'm running AIs on, and I love them. They're great lights. There's not that much difference
Since
except intensity.
They changed these two. Since they've gone Bluetooth, this has just been an amazing light. When they were all Wi-Fi, I'm not going to lie, it was a nightmare because you're trying to hook everything up. It doesn't work. Everything's not linking up. Since it's been Bluetooth, very simple, and anyone can do it. So even if you're not a techie person, I am not a techie person whatsoever. Don't even, anybody can tell you.
He's not. He's telling you the absolute truth.
You're lucky I can put my keys in the car and unlock the door, okay? I'm going to tell you that much right now. But this, I can do it, and I just love the fact that it works, and they just do very well, and you'll see the difference on the corals. Want to talk about mounting arms? Options on mounting arms. This one right here is, what is this, an 18?
It's a 12.
I was totally wrong. It was totally a 12.
Really small.
It is. This is 12-ounce mounted arm. The 12, honestly, on the all-in-ones though, the 12-inch arms.
The 12 is great on the 10s.
Yep.
The peninsulas, you really want the 18 so you can get the light out towards the middle of the tank. I tend to go with the 18s on the 20s as well because you can adjust the height of it better. On the 50.3, the 35.2, you could do either. I still kind of lean towards the 18s. The 18s give you options. The 12 is a little short, but it works great on the 10 gallons. It really does. It's for the smaller tanks. There's also hanging kits for these if you want to get really crazy and hang it. They look great hanging suspended from the air. There is a solid, a rigid arm for the primes. We don't use that one all that often, but there is a rigid arm.
We use them every now and then. I like the flex.
The rigid arm for the 32, the step up from the prime, is a really, really nice mounting bracket. I think that's about it.
No, it's great. I really like these lights at all. Do you want to do me a favor, Peter? Can you show off? Let's hit that with the OSA choice video. I want to show you guys some of the stuff we have available online. Bum, 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 bum. The other thing, too, I want to show you guys what we start off this tank. The one and only turbo start. This is what we use to start every single aquarium.
Miracle juice.
It is miracle juice. This is how we jumpstart. We get ready for every aquarium, and this is the way we work. And then if you want to do a fishless cycle, you can also use the fishless fuel self.
Takes about a week.
And you can just cycle the aquarium. That's the biggest thing rushing into. When it comes down to salt water, you do not want to move too quick or too fast. You want to take your time.
This is the only good, quick thing in this hobby.
Yeah.
That's all I can say. It works.
Take your time. Peter, is Donnie in here at all? I just want to see if we can add him in here since we got him around. Just checking. Just checking. Oh! What is happening? Hello. So we're jumping into Donnie. If you guys don't know Donnie from Wet Pets, Donnie, do me a quick favor. Just introduce yourself real quick.
All right. Sorry, trying to figure out how to get this thing on right. I am Donnie from Wet Pets. If you haven't been to my store, then you need to be coming here. But besides that, what would you like?
Wait. Where is your store? Where is your store?
Vernon, Connecticut. Sorry.
Vernon, Connecticut. All right. Donnie's out in Vernon. Donnie's a buddy from mine from a long time. Him and I have been doing shows for years upon years. So we're getting ready for the big Fall Frag Road Trip, this was all Donnie's idea. Him and I talked about this right after the FFM road trip that we did during COVID, and it was awesome. And all the support we got from everybody was fantastic. And Donnie was like, let's do it again for this year. And you guys can see right there the big banner coming up. It's this weekend, October 23rd, 24th, and you can see all the places that are involved. You got Wet Pets, you got Blake's, you got Aqua Dreams, you got both Aqua Dreams. You got the Marine Magnet School, you got Backwoods Reefs, who's going to be at your place, right, Donnie?
Yep, Kyle's setting up here.
You got
I actually have a bunch of people setting up here.
I know. We got CO Smith High School. We got the Coral Project. We got School of Fish, and we got Exotic Fish and Corals. Who do you got at your place going on, Donnie?
The only one who we didn't mention was Alex's Aquatics. That he got added in last minute, so he's not on that flyer. But he is also going to partake. He's on the map too when we show that later.
He is on the map. So for anybody out there, kind of explain us, what is this?
So we had the Frag Farmers road trip, and we thought that it was fun, and everybody seemed to do pretty well, and it was relatively simple for all the stores to set up. So we kind of thought it would be fun to do it again, and we wanted to do something for the fall, especially seeing as we didn't hear anything about a Fragtoberfest that typically happens this time of year. So we decided to get this going. Brandon from zooanthons.com and Kyle both set up here for Frag Farmers because they wanted to partake, but neither of them have a store. And Brandon being from Utah, it's a little bit of a haul for New England.
Brandon's coming up from Utah for this event, just so you guys know. So that's
correct.
That's
and so we all had fun at the March, the Frag Farmers one. So we said, let's do it again. And then I now have another space that I'm keeping empty aquariums in. So I figured that I could host a few more people if they wanted to come. And I had a few people ask me. So AIO Smith High School is going to set up over there. Actually, I'll show you guys. AIO Smith High School is going to set up over there. Hall High School is also going to set up over there. My buddy Danny from Sea Gardens, he's out of Waterbury.
Yep.
And then Kyle and Brandon are also returning, but figured actually space this time. Why not?
Yeah, and what you guys understand, we are getting stores involved because you know what? I know we're all self-aware. A lot has moved on. Even like as we change, we move a lot on too. But I'm gonna tell you right now, the retail store is the diehard, is the heart, the beating pulse of this hobby. And that's why a bunch of us get together and support each other, because we want you guys to be successful and to keep the retail store alive. And we're all grateful that we get to do this every single day. And we're all passionate about it. And that's what it is. We want to get you guys back into the retail store. We want to give you the best deals as possible. Every single one of these stores is running discounts. We're running massive discounts on aquariums, all livestock. Crazy deals, 20% off on all corals. Donnie's running a bunch of deals. What kind of anything else you want to fill us on them? There it is.
Flip this camera here.
Yeah, that's all right.
I wanted to see if I could flip. Whatever. So this is kind of our new showroom area that we'll have the trim finished up before this weekend. But we got it stocked up with tanks. And
let's see the tanks. All I can see is the sky, baby. All I can see is the sky.
Those are nice lights.
Really?
Those are nice lights. I'm jealous of those lights. Oh, all right.
I don't know I can't figure out how to make it spin. So
that's all right. It's all right.
And then we've got like some jewelry showcases from who was here before, but we're going to fill those with aquarium products. And then there's a good amount of empty wall space that we're going to have for everybody to set up their beautiful frag aquariums.
Excellent. Everybody's getting frags. Anything else? Donnie, you want to add anything else at all about the Fall Frag Road Trip?
The other thing that's kind of unique with it, that's good, and was something that we realized out of the Frag Farmers one, but we didn't market it at all, and we thought would be a little bit better to do something with this one, is that the beauty of it is we can also do freshwater stuff, which I know Scott Crow Freshwater over there loves that.
Yeah, that's right.
And
I'm losing you, baby. I'm losing you. Come back. Donnie, come back. Come back to
with
me,
this
Donnie.
being that it's at stores, we can help out all of our freshwater friends as well.
Yeah, and that's what it is. All these stores,
we were looking forward to that,
are involved, and you guys will see the map, and you guys can go back and forth, pick and choose your stores. Big sales here, big sales for you guys, and throughout all these stores in New England. Come out this weekend, sport. This is both Saturday and Sunday going on, and all these sales. And you're talking about tanks on freshwater, saltwater, massive deals on corals, and fantastic deals on dry goods, and obviously aquariums, because that's our big thing. Donnie, anything else you want to add at all, Tony?
Yes, I forgot to mention too, we're going to be doing a raffle too. So
how can we forget the raffle?
Bucks.
Wait, want to explain the raffle? I totally forgot about mentioning the raffle.
Yeah, so for every $20 that you spend, you'll get a raffle ticket. The stores that partake in fresh and salt water will have 2 bins for you to place your tickets in, a fresh or a saltwater bin, depending on what kind of things you're buying. And the stores that are just saltwater will just have a saltwater bin. And then at the end of the day on Sunday, we're going to throw all of the store names that do into one bin, and we're going to pull a winner for an Apex EL system, which is a nice over $500 prize.
Yes.
And then we're going to pull another name for a saltwater gift certificate for livestock for $400 to the store of your choice. So any of the stores that Scott named earlier that are on that map, you can pick and choose who you want to get stuff from, and you can get you'll get a $400 gift certificate to whichever store that's on that map if you're the winner from that store. So I'm just gonna pull store names, that way all 3 winners come from a different store, and then the stores are each going to pull one name at the end of the day from each of their bins. So if you happen to be the store that gets pulled for the first pull will be for the Apex, and then whoever their winner at that store is will get it. And by store, I should say vendor.
Yeah.
And then the second one will be the saltwater livestock gift certificate, and the third one will be a freshwater livestock gift certificate. So
And
3
we're
different winners, all good
participating.
prizes.
Yeah, no, that's gonna be a blast. These guys, we just want to get you. We're getting ready to hit the season. I got to tell you, it's been an absolutely beautiful October up here in New England. But we're getting ready to hit our season as we get ready to go in, especially as we hit November. And I get to do what I love every single day. We all do. I know Donnie does, and we're super proud.
do.
We appreciate everything, all the support we get from all you guys out there. Donnie, anything else before we get out here?
No, thank you in advance for anybody who comes out, and I hope this gives people a good excuse to go out and get some fun aquarium things this weekend.
That's right, guys. So make sure you join us weekend. Donnie, I appreciate you coming on here. I'll see you later on this weekend.
I appreciate you putting me on here. I'll talk to you soon. Have a good night.
So, all right, guys, make sure you join us this weekend. That's Saturday and Sunday here at the OSA. So OSA is 10% off everything, absolutely everything. And then that's aquariums, that's everything. And then 20% off all corals.
You're killing me tonight.
It's about funny part.
Dodging hands over
It's
here.
funny. 20% off all corals in stock only, nothing available on things. And we are running the 10% off on the osachoice.com website as well. So if you buy anything on the website, if you can't make it, we run that sale on there. And Amy will be packing that stuff up and shipping out to you guys for next week if you guys buy anything online as well. So that's all available. Back on before we get out of here tonight, I just want to finish up on the all-in-ones. And the only thing we did not get to talk about was fish selection. Fish selection on the 20s to 65.4s. I know I'm throwing you in here. So, like, say if you get a 20-gallon tank, what are you going to stock it with?
This all depends on if you get a screen top for it or not.
Ooh. All right. So,
if you get a top on it, your options open up a lot because then you can get on all the smaller fairy wrasses and stuff like that. If you try keeping a fairy wrasse in a 20 without a top on it, your dog or cat is going to have some fish jerky to chew on. That's just the way it is.
That's the problem with wrasses.
A lot of fish you could do that won't jump. Pretty much everybody's go-to is clownfish. That's usually what you start the tank out with. With these smaller all-in-ones, I love the wrasses, but you need a top on there. Cardinals won't jump on you normally. One fish that jumps a lot that people don't think would ever jump are mandarins. If you want a mandarin in one of these smaller tanks, you better put a top on it. Pretty much if it's a bottom-dwelling fish, there's a really good chance it's going to jump out of your tank on you because they live on the bottom. So if they feel a threat, their instant reaction is to shoot straight up. And shooting straight up in the ocean is no big deal. Shooting straight up in a little glass box usually ends you up on the floor, and it doesn't end well. The thing is, with most of the smaller fish, a lot of them are bottom dwellers. So they do sell screen kits for these. It's like building a window screen for your house. And you put it together, you put the top on. It sits below the level of the glass, and the edge of it is black. So you really don't see that it's there.
Yep.
So you still get that clean, rimless look, but your fish stay in the tank.
Now, the ones that we use the D&D jump guard. That's the big one. And we also use the Red Sea. And You can use the Red Sea on all the coral, on all the water boxes.
Yes.
They fit really well.
If you want a really expensive custom one, you can get one made, but the usual waiting time on them from the 2 companies that do it's about 6 months.
Yeah, they're
back
behind.
so backed up.
And I do believe you'll see Waterbox coming out eventually with a screen top, because this is a self-aware problem, and I do see that coming out here. And they'll probably design for their all-in-one kits for the lighting systems that they use. But we use the AIs anyway, and I tell you, you're gonna love an AI Prime if you put it on these tanks. It's fantastic.
Once again, the firefish, another perfect fish for this environment, another jumper. A lot of the small fish like to jump. They're food in the ocean, so their instinct is to get out of wherever they're at quick, and the quickest way is up. And up with these rimless, uncovered tanks tends not to fare well for them. You could do a small predator tank with like the 65.4, smaller lionfish, smaller puffers, stuff like that. It honestly depends on what you want to do.
Yep, and that's what it is. Especially getting into it. Like, we want to get somebody into it for the first time, and they've never had a saltwater aquarium. They've been curious about it. They see on it, and they're nervous about it. So we want to set them up right successfully. Get you set up right the first time, because this is the biggest problem we see hand over fist. We see a lot of people get a tank, and they were never set up for success the first time, and they just buy a glass tank from like a Petco, a PetSmart, or just somewhere. They put a canister filter on it, and they're just running into nightmares over and over again. Granted, I have seen Brandon Migliori build the best saltwater tank I've ever seen in life in a canister, but he religiously cleaned that canister out every single week.
It can be done, but we're not trying to set you up and do a chore that you don't want to do. We want you to enjoy it.
I don't want you to have this. This should not be a project all the time, and we want you to simplify it to the easiest way. That's why I love, especially on these all-in-ones, NEM tanks. And some of the hottest-looking NEM tanks are out there, very simple. I've seen a pair of skunk clowns, some shrimps, and some amazing-looking NEMs. Aquarium Design Group actually posted a video about 2 weeks ago of one of the absolute best, like 40-gallon all-in-one tanks I have ever seen, and it was just 2 anemones and a pair of skunk clowns and a cleaner shrimp, and it looked amazing. It was fantastic.
We're not on here telling you it can't be done. We're trying to get the easiest way for you to enjoy it.
Yes.
My first saltwater tank back in '89 was an under gravel filter with crushed coral on it. I had limited success, but it was successful. That's all that was around then. But it could be done. Would I do it again? Absolutely not. The technology is out there now. The tanks are affordable. And it makes your life so much easier. It makes the animals' lives so much easier. And when those two things coincide, you enjoy the hobby. Nobody wants to fail at something. Alan, you don't want to.
No. Alan just hit us up. Why do you prefer the TurboStart versus Dr. Tim's? For us, the TurboStart has worked way faster. This is a living bacteria that comes in. It's got to be refrigerated. You have to use it fairly fast. And we've just had better success with it. In fact, you guys will see probably next week. OSA Wakefield's done. It's all done. We haven't really showed everybody it. It's done as I just gotta hang up the AI primes. We cycled that entire place with TurboStart and the official fuel, and it was
TurboStart is simple.
It's super simple.
I've been using it for over 6 years now, and I've never had a tank fail to cycle with it. And we're talking at this point probably close to 1,000 tanks at least.
What is your preferred, if you were doing a bigger all-in-one, like a 65.4, what would you do? And I got a good question for you. Would you do a protein skimmer?
That's a tough one. I'm not the biggest fan of the protein skimmers for the all-in-ones because it takes the look away from the tank.
I agree.
Because no matter what you do, there's this big tower of gross foam sticking up above the water line. And if I'm going to go the skimmer route, I'm going to go with one of the smaller. If I wanted to stay smaller, I'd go with the sumped 60.2 water bars.
Yeah, no,
it's because the sump goes under the tank. I mean, the skimmer goes under the tank, and you don't see it. Skimmers are gross. That's just a fact.
Oh, trace elements. So you guys see on here right now. I plan on making my Red Sea Reefer 750, a rock flower anemone tank, plus fish and inverts. No coral. What brand of trace elements would you recommend and why? Heard about Red Sea, not sure about others. That is a good question when it comes down to trace elements. You're going to find what works for you in your happy equilibrium. We don't get into too many trace elements. What would you say like our style is?
rock flowers are pretty much just photosynthetic. They're about as easy as it gets. The only thing we really dose trace element wise is we use acro power because it's the one. I mean, you know what? You don't have to refrigerate it,
And you can put it on a
so
dosing.
you can put it on a doser, and they all work well. Do you necessarily need to use them? Is the question. And with rock flowers, I'd say you really don't need to.
And
they're a step above mushrooms, and mushrooms are very simple organisms. The rock flowers are very similar to that, and they can collect their own food. They tend not to move, and a rock flower tank is one of the most beautiful tanks out there. I don't know why more people don't just do rock flower tanks. You can't match the color of them with anything, and they're inexpensive. And they're easy.
I just love nems and clowns and skunk clowns. I think are so underrated. I think they look awesome, especially when it comes down to captive bred fish. There's a lot of captive bred fish that can actually fit inside these all-in-ones, and especially with the world changing as we're moving on more into that, especially when it comes down to like on the 65.4. Anything else you want to add tonight? Or I'm just kind of going through you guys' questions or anything like that. Alrighty, I feel like that's it. I appreciate you guys.
More questions?
I'm just checking on here, but actually, you know what? Peter Cherrick. Why since Peter? Listen, you guys out there, Peter Cherrick is our mastermind behind all this. So if you guys want to just let him know, but why don't you just give a quick shout out of that OSA story video for us, please? Also, if you guys didn't check out, we are packed for this weekend in all new saltwater fish. Ernie's going to do a video. We'll show you all the new video. If you join us on our Facebook to check out all this Facebook, tomorrow we'll show you guys all the new fish that came in this week. Where else we got loaded up on freshwater as well. We're jamming. We're jam-packed. Wakefield is pretty much done. We should have that open up the first week of November. Honestly, the only reason we're just even delayed on it is just because the work shuttle, because I'll be at Aquashella next weekend. If you guys are in that area, I'll see you guys there in Dallas. Then I'll be back here the week after that. I'm at the Water Box event because we are talking Blue Friday, which will be also held here at the Coventry Store location as well. Arnie, anything else you want to add tonight? I just want to see if anybody's got any questions.
We got in the biggest peacock mantis shrimp I've ever seen. It's worth coming in just to see
him
before he sells. He's closing in on 6 inches. I've never seen one this size. He is stunning.
It's awesome. It's just cool to see it.
It's huge.
Alrighty, guys. We appreciate the support. We'll see you guys next week. We're getting out of here.
We'll be on Wednesday next week when we're supposed to be.
Yeah. Join us next week. Max out, baby. We'll see you guys later.
Keep on reefing.
Peter, hit that exit.